Hey guys, this is Mike Tarallo with Qlik. In this episode of Do More with Qlik, I'm going to briefly introduce you to Qlik Answers, which is our AI assistant that brings together the power of Qlik's analytics engine with leading large language models to help you get more insight out of your data. Okay guys, as always, you know I like to cover all bases. So before you get started, one thing you're going to want to check is make sure you have access to your administration home or the Qlik management console. And in that management console or the administration console, if I go to manage users, you're going to check permissions and you're going to select user default and you're going to look at features and actions and agentic AI. Under normal circumstances, this data analysis should be set to allowed. You can see it says, lets users use Qlik Answers to analyze data, create charts, and gather insights from documents. For some reason, if you don't have access to this and the stuff that I show you doesn't work, this is most likely the cause, that you just do not have the proper permissions. So have your management team set that up for you through the user default settings, through permissions and manage users within the administration console. Okay, so that being said, there is one other setting. Underneath settings and the tenant, there has to be a checkbox, AI features in Qlik. Enable cross-region data processing. And there's a message there. If this is not turned on, you will also not get access to answers. So make sure that is turned on and make sure that the permission or setting, which is set by default, should give you access to answers. Okay, so that being said, now we're in the Qlik Cloud Analytics Activity Center. Now, you might be tempted to jump right to answers, okay? But there isn't really anything set up yet. There's no assistance set up yet, or you don't have access to your apps. I'm just going to show you the quickest way to get access to that. So I will go to Catalog, and I'm going to go to the app that I want to use Qlik Answers on, and I'm going to click on Open Application. So this is just a standard way of just going into a Qlik Cloud Analytics app that you all know and love, and I'm just going to access a sheet. Now, you could go into the settings of the app, and you can go to capabilities and you can click on the switch. But even easier is you can just click Open Answers. And when you do that, it's going to automatically recognize the app and allow you to enable it. So we just click Enable Qlik Answers. And that's all you have to do. At this point, it's going to use your data model and the power of the Qlik Analytics engine to provide the insights. And it's going to use the large language model and this as an AI client to perform reasoning and produce the results. And as soon as this is finished enabled, I'm going to ask a question and you're going to see how it works. Okay, so now it is enabled. Now, before I ask a question directly within the app here through the side panel, I do want to show you if we go back to analytics, we can get a full screen answers interface. And in order to access what we just enabled, you can set your context and you can see application analysis. And there is the app. We set that, and we could also ask the question here. I prefer to use the full screen analysis instead of being limited to the side panel. So I'm just going to ask a very generic question. How is my business doing this year? And what you're going to see is agentic reasoning, okay? And you can show the reasoning, and basically this helps you validate where it's connecting, the measures it's going to use, what it perceives, if you will, as what makes a healthy business operation. So in this case, maybe it's looking at customer retention, total sales, repeat buyers, etc. It will infer that from your data model. So for example, I do have repeat buyers as a measure. I do have customer retention as a metric in my master items. I do have things such as lead time and quantity and all these other measures that we can use to create an analysis. Very similar to what you see here in the dashboard, right? We have open orders, total orders, units sold, average lead time. It's going to use the data model. In this case, let's just go to my data model viewer. And all of the elements that it has available to it, plus the inference from the agentic reasoning to create a meaningful result, right? And you can see I have transactions, I have mapping routes, fulfillment, order data, line items. I mean, there's a number of different elements here, measures and dimensions that can be used. Okay, so now this usually does take anywhere between 2 to 5 minutes, depending on the length of the question. And again, you can always look at the reasoning and how it's going to build out the components. And then here we go. Here is our results. So here's our conclusion. So business is performing well so far in 2026. Total sales are 13,000, which is comprised of 163 orders. So we have a nice little sales trend here showing you from January to February, but we're still early in the month of February. It's only the 9th. And you can see here also by looking at the additional narrative, the monthly sales trend shows January generated 10,513, while February has reached 2,758. Your business has an excellent start to the year with strong January performance and is building momentum in February. The trend shows healthy activity, though it's still early in the year to draw long-term conclusions. Okay, so this is a very accurate picture of the results. And what I like to do is also like to just validate some things. So I actually went to a in-progress app that I've been working on. Okay, and you can kind of see based off of the numbers that came back, right? So if you look at the results, we had 163 total orders and 13,000 in sales, right? Just to give you a quick example, I have a little filter here for 2026. And you can see total orders 163 and 13,271 in sales, right? So this just gives you that little extra comfort of the validation. But remember, it's returning what is indexed and part of the data model and using the analytics engine. So if your model is incorrect or your data is incorrect or your expressions are incorrect, it's going to return incorrect information because it's retrieving what's from your model. Okay, so that's all I wanted to share with you, that very quick, simple example. I'm going to continue this series with a bunch of different other examples that we're going to use as I continue to progress to show you the awesome power of Qlik Answers. All right, guys, take care. I'll see you on the next video.